After a brand new racetrack weekend at Hanford last time out that brought us a first-time winner in Zaedin Davidson, we gear up now this weekend for One-Up's longest night at Kentucky Speedway. 94 laps to come around this 1.5 mile oval. This is going to be a real endurance test for all 42 drivers and their cars, and for the fans as well who have turned out in droves to see this one out here in Sparta, Kentucky. And alongside me to bring you all the action for this very long race here for tonight is James Ellison once again, and well, this is the big endurance test of the season. Like I said, the question now becomes which of these drivers will hang on for all 94 laps, make it to the end of this race, and which one will be in victory lane.
That's a tough question to ask, especially with like you said, the endurance of this race. It's going to be a long night for some of these drivers, and it's going to be a lot of work. And you know, I'm looking forward to seeing just how this will play out. Got a lot of good people up here in the front. Some people who've been really good, but not have had the best of luck, looking for another great night.
Absolutely, there's a lot of drivers looking for some good momentum here in this race, which will get underway shortly once we bring you the starting lineup for today's 94-lap race. Ben McDonald gets his second pole of the season in this event. He lines up alongside Keon Daly, who gets his best start of the year on outside of the front row. Daniel Bouchard, 38th in points, needs to make something happen to get himself up towards the top 30. He lines up third alongside Nick Ortiz, and Christian Vargas, the two-time champ, lines up in 5th position. And we've got some other big stories to keep our eye on within the top 10. Zachary DeLello, highest starting rookie, in 6th. Ricky Freeman Jr. has had a rough start to the year. He starts 9th. Jeff Bolton's had a great start to the year. He starts 10th. And Chase Christ gets his best starting spot since Talladega, I believe, when he started 3rd. He lines up 11th today. There's a lot to keep our eye out on for today's race, but my big question is, can anyone stop Ben McDonald? Because he has been great form as of late.
Well, that is another tough question to answer, because there's so many good people, so many good competitors for Ben, and we've seen comers and goers throughout the entire existence of this series and this league. It's been real interesting to watch, and I'm looking forward to seeing if anybody could do something about that pole sitter.
So with that being said, we're about to find the answers to those questions and a lot more in 94 laps time. This is the One-Up Superstar Series from Kentucky Speedway. It's our biggest night of the year, and the green flag gets us underway in just a moment. Look at all those flashbulbs going off in the stands, all the fans on their feet, getting ready for One-Up's longest night, which is now underway at Kentucky Speedway. The green flag is out, and Ben McDonald gets a good launch off the line. Echo Evans-Ross took a peek to the outside for a moment, tucks back in line heading into turn 1, and these guys are in their best condition right now at the start of the race, but I would expect these guys to get a little ragged around the edges, especially later on in this race.
Yes, but it's definitely going to be true, and we're seeing right now Daniel Bouchard, like we talked about the pre-race, he needs something. Fighting hard with Keon Daly, who's putting up a heck of a fight trying to keep that second spot, and of course Keon's getting some help from behind. Of course, so is Bouchard, but you know, one of these laps or turns, somebody's going to win that battle.
But it's still ongoing right now, down the backstretch on lap number 2. It is Keon Daly battling Daniel Bouchard in the turns 3 and 4. We got 3 wide further back between Lane Sanders, Emma Kruger, and Zachary DeLello. That is for the 6th position on the racetrack. But up front, McDonald holds the lead. Bouchard now clears for 2nd, and he is going to cross up in front of the 20, move the 73 of Bouchard up to P2.
And Keon Daly wisely takes the opening to get himself slotted safely in 3rd for the moment. Meanwhile, Sanders sizing up the 2 Toyotas ahead of him, trying to figure out a way to get up there and get in the top 5.
Yeah, but so far he's stuck behind DeLello and Vargas right now in 7th place. Remember, he started well at Hanford, but had a rough pit stop there. That's cost him big, as here comes Bouchard underneath Ben McDonald. The 73 gets to the lead for the first time this season.
Yeah, if he can hang on and lead a lap, he wasn't credited this time around because he hadn't completed the pass, but he can lead a few laps, that'll be at least 1 point that he desperately needs in order to make a charge towards a better position points.
Absolutely, and it looks like he is going to get credited with leading this lap number 4 for Daniel Bouchard. He gets that bonus point, and no one can take that from him now. And boy, you're right, he needs as many points as he can today. He's got 51 of them currently in the lead of this race, but we still have 90 laps to go, and there's a lot that can still happen as Nick Ortiz makes a lunge down to the inside of McDonald. That's for second place.
And Bouchard's going to be happy to see that, because that means that McDonald's got to focus on defending second and not so much on trying to get the lead back. So that's really going to be beneficial for him, because he's now got a few car lengths between him and the 12.
Yeah, but I would not be surprised if Ortiz kept making a run at it, because this 91 team, they've been doing solid this season, but he hasn't won yet, and this would be a great opportunity for him. He dives to the inside of the 12 of McDonald, trying to make the pass for second place, and it looks like he's going to do it with a little helping hand from his fellow Honda driver, Keon Daly. Now he battles McDonald for third.
Battles and gives up on the battle for the moment, but I'm pretty sure that Ortiz will be thinking about that one, even if it's just a slight arrow push. But yeah, Ortiz, you talk about Louisville Motorsports, they've not had the best of seasons, and this is something that they really need.
And look at that, he's making a move on Bouchard for the race lead, and he's well in away clear off of turn 4. So put Nick Ortiz in the lead of this race on lap number 7. He leads at the line, and here comes McDonald trying to get revenge on the 73 for the pass Dodge driver made on McDonald earlier in the race.
Yeah, he's trying, but we saw with Daly, he wasn't able to make a move right at the time, but I'm sure that 12's strong enough that it'll eventually work out.
And the first side-by-side battle on track now is between two Toyotas battling for the 7th position, Zachary DeLello and Emma Kruger, right behind Lane Sanders, who runs in the 6th position, as Keon Daly fends off Christian Vargas for 4th, and now he refocuses his efforts on trying to get past Ben McDonald himself, as Kruger also takes care of Zachary DeLello to move the 70 up into 7th place. And here comes Vargas, but Daly blocks the 54's advances. This is a really big battle on our hands here.
Yeah, because here comes Lane outside of Vargas, and now this, Vargas had to check up a little bit. That gives Lane the position. And here comes DeLello trying to get back by Kruger, and I see Ricky Freeman Jr. there. He's been hanging in there right about where he started.
Yeah, he's had a rough go of this season. Missed the first 3 races due to suspension. He came back at Circuit of the Americas, but has not had a top 10 finish this season yet. But he's on pace to get one here so far. To complete lap number 10, he's about to make the pass on DeLello for the 8th position. Move the 96 up a place. This is a run that Freeman really needs.
Yeah, and this is not the run that DeLello wants. He's still in the top 10, but he is falling back every few laps.
And remember, we have 2 pit stops planned for this race as well. One around lap 30 to 35, and the other around lap 65 to 70 if this race stays green the entire way. So these guys have got their work cut out for them as far as strategy is concerned as well. The undercut is quite powerful here. The fall off is about 3 seconds. So you're going to want to be the first one on pit road if given the opportunity, as we keep an eye on Chase Christ here, currently running in 13th.
Yeah, he's lost a couple spots, and you see back there Echo Evans Ross, you see Cale Tescar Jr. in that 0. He's one back from where he started and under attack, but still holding strong there, and that's the kind of thing he needs.
But making our way back to the front of the field, McDonald now making a move back on Daniel Bouchard. This is for 2nd position, while Ortiz continues to head the field. McDonald and Bouchard dice it up for the 2nd position, and it looks like Bouchard is going to keep that position for now, as Keon Daly tries to stick his nose down there 3 wide, but thinks better of it, backs out for now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was, well, it almost gave McDonald the boost, the arrow boost he needed to be able to clear that 73, excuse me. Bouchard's got a stout car today. I'd definitely give him that.
Yeah, he's got a really good car, and as long as he can close the deal tonight, this will be a huge boost for him in the points if he can finish right about here. As McDonald makes a dive for the lead on Nick Ortiz. Let's see if it works coming through 3 and 4. I think Ortiz is going to have a clear track ahead of him now, because McDonald did not get the momentum off of 4 he needs. Ortiz continues to lead at the line.
Yeah, he made a dive bomb, and he's able to clear Bouchard finally, but wasn't able to do anything about his competitor in front of him. But still a long ways to go and a couple of pit cycles, so still plenty of opportunities to be able to get back in the lead.
Yeah, but you know Ben McDonald, he hates running second more than anyone else does. He wants this lead back. He wants it now, as Keon Daly also makes the pass on Daniel Bouchard for 3rd position. As here comes McDonald on Ortiz. This is for the race lead.
Yeah, Emma Kruger was looking like she was going to try to get by Bouchard as well, but not quite for it yet, as Daly goes after Ortiz, after McDonald, as he finally gets to see that lead again, which, as you said, he hates not having that lead.
Yeah, he'd rather be 3rd than 2nd. I know Ben McDonald would rather be in the lead, but I'm just saying there's a lot that can still happen in this race for Ben and for everyone else in this race, like you said. As we look now at Emma Kruger in 5th place, sizing up Keon Daly, the 70 and the 20, battling for 4th. Maybe not on this occasion.
Not an official battle yet, but it's looking pretty good to become one here soon enough. But I noticed a new player in the top 10, Roberto Crown Jr. started a few spots back from that in 13th, and he's got a good opportunity here if he can close the deal on a top 10 finish.
Remember, Roberto Crown Jr. missed the Daytona 500. He's made every race since, and he's doing whatever he can to climb up spots in the point standings, and he's doing a fantastic job of it right here. As Ortiz makes another dive on McDonald for the race lead, nothing doing there. As we make our way further back, Emma Kruger makes the pass on both Keon Daly and Lane Sanders to move up into 4th place.
And it looks like Sanders is going to try the outside, because it looks like, based on how things played out, that's where it worked out. But you got Vargas there now, so looks like that's not going to work after all.
No, but it's definitely worth a look for later in the race when this groove widens for the rest of the day. But as Kruger now dives underneath Daniel Bouchard, this is for 3rd. The 70 car finished last week at Hanford. Not what the 70 team was hoping for. They fell to 20th in the point standings after winning the regular season championship a season ago. So this 70 team really needs a rebound, and a top 5 run here would do wonders for them.
You talk about a championship slump. Well, it wasn't the overall championship, but if there is such thing as a regular season champion slump, I feel like this, for the moment, might be it. But she could turn it around, and she's got a chance to here.
But for now, she's content to ride in 4th position as Ben McDonald and Nick Ortiz start to stretch their legs a little out in front. About a 2nd between them and Daniel Bouchard. As we look a little further back now at Echo Evans-Ross, currently running in 12th place as they run right now, because Mark Davey is closing up on her in a hurry, as is Dylan Young and Jeffrey Finguy. They've got Chase Chris sandwiched between them. The FPM Fords started mid-pack, but they're quickly starting to make their way to the front.
Yeah, and then you look back for a little further, you got Miles Mashburn and Devin Fair. Not having the greatest of runs, but not horrible, but knowing Devin Fair, he'd rather be up there.
Whoa, look at Chase Chris tried to make a move, but Dylan Young was having none of that, and he make the move himself on Mark Davey to move himself up in the 13th as they go 3 wide for a position further back. That's Kyle Roberts in the middle in the 2 machine. Devin Fair on the outside. Aaron Hall is the big loser in that one. He backs out a couple car lengths.
I feel like Hall was the one who was trying to make the move, and as we've seen, even on 2 wide strategies, sometimes having to back out. But, you know, trying to make these bold moves early can pay off big, or it can really mess up your night.
And it's still very early in this race. We still have about 70 laps to go in this race. There is a lot that can still happen here tonight. But as of now, it's been the Ben McDonald show out in front. He's led the majority of the laps so far. Nick Ortiz and Daniel Bouchard have also led. But this, like I said at the top of the show, this 12 car has been pretty good on this type of track before. And right now, I'm looking forward to seeing how this race plays out, because McDonald, can anyone challenge him? I think the 91's the best bet.
Right now, that does seem to be the case, because that 91 is strong. Got that Honda power on the hood, really, really cranking, and Bouchard still might have a shot later on if he can make some adjustments. But right now, he's going to have to be content to be right behind them.
But we're starting to string out single file here, pretty spaced out, which you kind of expect here at Kentucky for this point in the race. But keep in mind, we've got a green flag pit cycle coming up in about 10 laps here. So I would expect these guys to all be in position to pit when the moment arises. Who gets on the pit road first could be a big factor in deciding this race.
And I feel like we've seen it happen where some of the ones that weren't performing the greatest, even those, especially those who normally are up front, not having a good day, sometimes end up being the first to pit. But strategies can vary, that's for sure.
That they certainly can. And we got a 3-car battle here for third position between Bouchard, Kruger, and Keon Daly. Looks like it's settled for the moment, but this 70 is not giving up the fight on Daniel Bouchard. She's going to take a look to the inside going into turn 1. I believe that... No, Bouchard's got a really good run for 1 and 2, so he keeps the position for the moment. That 70 is not giving up the fight, though.
And nor should she. Like we've talked about, hasn't been the greatest, at least the last couple of races for her. Haven't been the greatest overall together, but got a chance here, and that's definitely going to get better at every position she can gain.
And across the stripe, she does gain that position on Daniel Bouchard, so move the 70 up to third place for the moment. We'll see if she can clear Bouchard off of 2, and it looks like she will this time. So give Emma Kruger that position, as Nick Ortiz has been slowly clawing into Ben McDonald's deficit, and now the two are mere car lengths apart.
Yeah, this is going to be the fight the whole race, I feel. Pending some random thing, something big happening, this is it. And I know those guys are going to want to slap me for saying any hint of anything going wrong for them, but it has happened to dominant cars in the race before.
Yeah, well, these two are in prime position here to get a big win so far in this race. And McDonald, he already has a win this season. I believe he got that at Worldwide Technology Raceway. But Nick Ortiz, he has not won in a couple of whiles now. He hasn't won since joining Louisville Motorsports and Honda. So this would be a big day for Ortiz if he could cap off the night with a big win. But as I say that, he's starting to lose a bit more time to Ben McDonald, as it looks like Bouchard has also gotten back past Kruger for third.
Yeah, and then you see right there, Vargas got past Keon Daly, and now Lane Sanders sizing him up. These guys are all fighting for spots here, and they keep fighting. Top two just keep going away.
To interrupt, it looks like we got our first taker on the pit road, and it is Ricky Freeman Jr. in the 9th position who came into the pit. So Ricky Freeman Jr. is going to try the undercut strategy here on this cycle, as we got a spin off of turn 4. James Silverfox in the 9. That is going to put us under caution for the first time, and that is really going to hurt Ricky Freeman Jr. in this race, who had already made his pit stop.
Yeah, it was a good strategy until the 9 went for a spin, and it's really unfortunate for Silverfox, because he had a very poor qualifying position. Started 37th, and now things are definitely not looking good for him.
No, but the good news for Ricky Freeman Jr. is he will be the free pass under this caution, so at least he'll stay on the lead lap, albeit on tail end of that lead lap. So he's still in this race for now, but that is just a really unfortunate break for Ricky Freeman Jr. He had the perfect strategy, he just needed it to cycle through all the way.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about green flag stops. There's always a chance that a caution will come along and screw everything up for somebody.
And that somebody on this cycle was Ricky Freeman Jr. in the 96, as he comes up to take his place in line when the caution came out, of course. But I would expect everybody else, bar the 96 and the 9, to hit pit road here, because this will carry them to make it on one more stop from here.
you said, everybody coming in. Freeman stayed out.
And so did Silver Fox, yeah. So they already pitted. There's no reason for them to come in again here. So, but everybody else is making the trip down pit road for 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel, and we'll see how this one shapes up.
And you're going to see there several different drivers getting, well, ones who have made their pit stops. Looks like some people, or no, rather, okay, I'm getting confused here, but okay, here comes Ortiz. This is going to be our first first one off pit road, but McDonald was able to get out just ahead of him, which, you know, that's what Ben wants.
And Roberto Crown Jr. made some big gains. He's up to 3rd, Jeff Bolton to 4th, Echo Evans-Ross made some gains.
Miles Ashburn's in there now.
Yeah, quite the opposite, though, for Daniel Bouchard and Christian Vargas. They lost spots on this pit stop, as did Keon Daly. But for now, we're going to get you a replay of what happened to James Silverfox to put us under caution here. So you see he was running as a tail of the field anyway. I think he was trying to commit to pit road as well, but he was just in the wrong lane to do that. Yeah, that's just a bit of a rookie mistake out of the 9 car. You gotta clear yourself to the bottom before you can commit to pit road like that. And unfortunately for him, AJ Jones was already there.
And he almost went up into the 1 of Rhodes Gray as well, but fortunately it was kept to be a small incident. Well, fortunately, if your name is not James Silverfox or AJ Jones.
Or Ricky Freeman Jr. for that matter, because he is unfortunately going to be mired deep in the field as a result of this.
Yeah, so we got to look and see how this is going to play out as we watch for the little bit of shuffle and see how things play out.
But Ricky Freeman Jr., he will get the free pass under this caution. Thankfully for him, he was lucky enough to get that. He will be back on the lead lap once this all cycles out, and he should be getting that any minute now. We will restart this race with 41 cars on the lead lap. So here comes Ricky Freeman Jr. He did get the free pass, as we said, so he's going to wave around to get back on the lead lap here. But like we said, he is going to have to start way at the back of the field. And at a track like this, I mean, it's not impossible for him to recapture a good finishing position here. It's just been made a lot more difficult.
Yeah, and as the lights go out on the pace car, he'll get back around and be back in position in time for this to get going again. But it's gonna be a tough fight. We've said it already, and I'm already feeling like a broken record saying it again. But he has the determination. He could salvage something out of this. It is still pretty early.
We still have 60 laps to go in this race. You're right. There is a lot that can still happen tonight. But you see James Silverfox taking his place in the lap down lane. He is the only car 1 lap down in this race. So he will take his place on the inside next to Ben McDonald. And we will get this race restarted with precisely 60 laps to go. We are going to have one more pit stop from here on out, and I hope it's going to go a little smoother than this last one.
Yeah, and I'm sure Freeman would love to say the same thing. And as we watch this is going to be interesting because I believe that 9 could be pretty strong, even though he started in the back. But getting him up there in the mix, whether he's fast or slow, that's really going to play games with these leaders, I think.
Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? Because the pace car pulls off on the pit road, leaving us in the hands of Ben McDonald on the outside. James Silverfox on the inside, 1 lap down. Going to get you ready for this restart, which is going to come out. Then the green flag flies here on lap number 35. We are underway once again here at Kentucky.
And like I was wondering, Silverfox has the power to be able to hold on and be able to stay with the leaders, and that's really messing with Crown, who's trying to make some moves for second here.
I would not be surprised if Roberto Crown Jr. made a move to the inside like he's doing right here. He dives to the inside, like I said, makes it 3 wide. He's going to clear Silverfox, but not quite Nick Ortiz, who gets to run off the outside, and they're going to remain side by side for a while down the front straightaway before Nick Ortiz clears for second place. As you see Ricky Freeman Jr. back there, he is trying desperately to make up for lost time, but he has got his work cut out for him. There's a lot of good cars he's got to pass now.
Yeah, and back up front, it's just like it was before the caution came out, McDonald Ortiz getting ready to duke it out once again if Ortiz can make a move.
I would not be surprised if he made one, and here he comes. Down to the inside goes Nick Ortiz, onto the flat, back onto the banking of the tri-oval, and now he's alongside Ben McDonald. This is going to be a really interesting battle for the rest of this race, as McDonald does clear for the lead off of 2, but this has brought Roberto Crown Jr. right back into play.
I was just about ready to say, these guys better watch out and be careful how they fight, because that 55 was closing quick, and he's there, not able to do anything. I spoke too soon. He's going to the outside.
And he's made the pass on Nick Ortiz to move up into second place. So now Roberto Crown Jr. has a shot to make something happen. Remember, he got his only career win last season at Denver. So he knows how to get his way around these big, high-speed ovals. But it's been a while. Like I said, his only career win came in that race 1 year ago, and he would love nothing more than to get back to victory lane here in Kentucky.
And he wants to prove that he's just as fast in that Ford as he was in the Kings Motorsports Toyota last year. Which, it's sad that team's not around anymore, but at least these drivers have places to go, and Crown has proven himself worthy in his current ride.
Yeah, he has been the highlight for Paladin Racing this season as Roberto Crown Jr. I know it. But as of right now, he runs in 3rd position. Actually, Jeff Bolton's making a run at these 3 in 4th spot. That 38 has been running up front pretty much all season long. He entered this race 9th in the points. He's doing a pretty good job now. He's currently in 4th position right behind Crown as Ortiz makes another stab at Ben McDonald for the race lead.
Yeah, and I'd say don't look now. I mean, he's a little ways back there, he's a little ways back there, but Jeffrey Finn guy has entered the chat as far as top 10 is concerned.
I would not put it past him to make something happen late in this race, I'm sure. But across the stripe they go, and Nick Ortiz 2/1000ths of a second away from leading that lap. That would have been really close. Would that have been the battle for the win? But right now, these 4 continue to do battle for the lead. Then they've got a buffer with James Silverfox, 5th car in line, but of course last in this race, a lap down. Then you have Emma Kruger, who actually is in 5th place, followed by Sanders, Evans, Ross, Mashburn, Finn Guy, and Aaron Hall completing the top 10.
Yeah, you got the 70s, 39, and 07, all teammates right there. That is good representation for them. But they're all kind of scattered. It'd be kind of dangerous for the rest of these guys if they could all find some speed and work together to get up there 1, 2, 3. But a lot of work to do right now, especially with McDonald's strong 12 car.
Absolutely. He has led the majority of this race, has Ben McDonald, but Nick Ortiz and Roberto Crown Jr. have proven to be stout competitors tonight, and I would expect it to come down to these 3, barring any late race craziness. But up at the front of the field, we're closing in on half race distance. Ben McDonald continues to lead. He's got about a 1.5 car length advantage, which is growing as they come off of turn 2 to about 4 car lengths, 5 car lengths as they come off the corner.
Yeah, and you know, we were talking about a buffer between Bolton and Kruger. Buffer is gone. It's now being moved out of the way by Lane Sanders. So there might be a few more players if they all get side by side like Crown and Ortiz were just then.
So far, so good, though, for Ben McDonald in the lead of this race, as Nick Ortiz set up absolute blistering lap to take the fastest lap of the race away at 29.83. That's incredible speed around here, and that lap would have been good enough for 3rd on the grid tonight for Nick Ortiz. So strong stuff from the 91, even as he tries to chase down Ben McDonald for the lead. Meanwhile, we look further back. Lane Sanders right on the tailgate of Emma Kruger. That is for the final spot in the top 5.
Yeah, and Crown going after Ortiz yet again here. This went from a battle between McDonald and Ortiz for the lead to Ortiz and Crown for 2nd as McDonald's trying to drive away.
Meanwhile, Emma Kruger dicing up with Jeff Bolton for the 4th position. Looks like the 70 is going to try and take it going into turn 3. Bolton's hanging tough on that outside. I would expect him to put up a fight off of turn 4, like Ortiz just did on Roberto Crown Jr. And there you see Bolton getting his elbows out, getting back past the 70 and maintaining that 4th place for the time being.
And you saw there Eck Evans-Ross was trying to make something happen to the outside to get by the lap car of Silver Fox, who would love nothing more than to actually be among the lap leaders right now, as good as his car is, but he's just going to have to settle in and hope that maybe he can get a caution that'll save his race.
As we go 3 wide for 4th, Lane Sanders touring the 70 of Emma Kruger just a little bit to try and take 4th position off her and Jeff Bolton. Lane Sanders is going to try it going into turn 1. He's got to back out of it, though, and loses both the positions he just gained. Bolton and Kruger back to 4th and 5th.
Yeah, I talked about it earlier. Aaron Hall, who is not far behind all that right now, thanks to strategy. As we look back to him, Mashburn, and Finn Guy, he tried 3 wide earlier when he was toward the second half of the top 20, but it had to back out then as well, so it does not surprise me that 3 wide isn't holding up very well.
And as for James Silverfox, I would expect him to hope for that caution to come before we get to the final round of green flag pit stops, because once that happens, we might see more cars fall a lap down, and that could really put to bed Silverfox's hopes of getting that lap back.
And that is exactly what he doesn't want to see. I know one thing for sure, what he doesn't want to see in his effort to get that lap back is, if the caution comes out for that to happen, he be the caution, because then that makes him ineligible for that free pass.
Absolutely right, but we're looking now at the top 5, who started to distance themselves from 6th place Lane Sanders, and especially this battle for 7th between Miles Mashburn and Echo Evans-Ross. And let's not forget Jeffrey Finguy back there in 9th position, and he's starting to bring his teammate Dylan Young into the party as well. Young currently runs 11th, right behind Aaron Hall.
I was going to say, don't count out Young, because he's right there. You see Christian Vargas, he's got a little bit of a distance to be able to try to get back in the top 10, but he wants to get back up there, because he needs to get back. Well, in his mind, he really needs to get back up there, but he hasn't been having too bad of a season. So, and look what we got here.
We've got a battle for the lead on our hands. Nick Ortiz underneath Ben McDonald for the lead of the race, coming for 3 and 4. Bolton making a move. We got 4 of them under a blanket for the lead off of 4. We'll see if Ortiz is able to clear Ben McDonald at the stripe. It is going to be really tight, but Ortiz did lead that lap. Ben McDonald fell back to 2nd. We'll see if McDonald gets a little help from Roberto Crown Jr. Maybe. No, he doesn't, but I don't think he even needs it, because he's coming up back along the outside, back past Nick Ortiz, and back to the race lead.
Here comes Emma Kruger, too. She saw this battle and thought, here's my chance. And it's settled out a bit now, but she's there.
And so was Lane Sanders in 6th spot, so don't count him out either. As we've now passed the halfway point, closing in on 40 to go. This race has really come alive lately, but keep in mind, we still have one more round of pit stops to make in the next 10 laps.
One more round, and who knows what else will happen in there as well. So this is getting real exciting. Well, not so exciting for everyone who's watching that 12 drive away again, but no, I don't think Ben cares about what they think.
What I think Ortiz and Crown have got to be thinking now, as Bolton makes a move on Crown for 3rd, nothing doing there for him, I don't think, but what Crown and Ortiz need to be thinking, they've got to get on pit road before Ben McDonald does. The undercut, like I said, extremely powerful, and if these guys can get it even one lap before Ben McDonald does, that is going to give them a huge advantage coming out of the pits.
A huge advantage, but you also got to think, McDonald's got to be thinking about the possibility they'll do that too, and who knows, we might see them all go to pit road hoping the others don't do it.
But here comes Lane Sanders back on the inside of Bolton and Kruger, and this time he's going to keep it. Lane Sanders up to 4th place, and this time he is well clear of Jeff Bolton and Emma Kruger and James Silverfox for good measure, who's a lap down. Sanders up to 4th. Let's see what he can do trying to chase down Ortiz and Crown, as Ben McDonald's lead has gotten really big.
And I say it before, I'll say it again. It don't matter when your last win was. Last week or last year, or even before that. When you want one, you want another one. McDonald, he's already won this year, he wants another. Same with Sanders. But several of these guys and gals here either have never won, or it's been a while since they have, and they want it. But they got to get to that 12 first.
Yeah, we've got Echo Evans-Ross and Aaron Hall in the top 10 looking for their first career wins in the Superstar Series. Other than that, everybody's won before, but like you said, they want their best victory is their next one in the one-up Superstar Series. As Crown once again clears Sanders, who's under fire from Jeff Bolton now for the 4th position. Looks like he'll be able to take it back. But Ben McDonald's lead has grown to a whopping 1.5 seconds. This is the biggest it's been all night.
And we are now officially less than 40 to go, and I would imagine it won't be too long before the crew chiefs and the spotters start calculating when to be best time for pitting for some of these guys and gals, especially if your name is not Ben McDonald.
Yeah, if you're Ortiz and Crown, like I said, you want to be on pit road first, and Ben McDonald's thinking the same thing. The difference for Ben McDonald is he is the first one that goes past the pit lane entry every lap. So if these guys see that McDonald's got a big enough lead now to where if he bypasses the pit entry, the 91 and the 55 teams can call their drivers into the pits after McDonald's already crossed it, and they can outsmart him that way. I'm curious to see if that's going to be the case or not, especially considering McDonald's lead is now over 2 seconds.
Yeah, he is really pushing. Well, it's shrunk a little, but it's still really big, and that is no bueno for everyone behind him.
No, but Ortiz has been gaining time. My only question is, will it be enough time? Because we are only about 5 laps away from this pit cycle starting as Finguy and Sanders do battle.
Best friends.
They are doing battle now for 5th position as the Auto Owners Ford gets underneath the Mountain Dew Dodge, but it looks like Sanders is able to hold the 92 off for the moment. But like we said, and Ortiz has been closing the gap by about 0.2 a lap, so he is gaining, but he still has to be thinking about outfoxing the 91 here.
Yeah, he's got to be looking at McDonald and talking to his crew chief while he's not being pressured by Crown and thinking, what do we got to do here, guys? What's the plan? And I guarantee they're going to be seeing if they can outsmart that 12 and pit first.
We're entering lap 60. The window is open at this point for the leaders to make it to the end. It'd be a bit of a stretch from here, but you could theoretically make it to the end from here. I think they're going to want to try and go to about lap 63 to 64 before they think about pitting, though. I'm very curious to see how this plays out, though, because these guys, this is for the win.
Yeah, for the win and for the chance to be able to say whether or not you were able to outsmart the driver of the 12 car. That's big for everyone besides Ben, but who knows? We'll see what happens here as soon as the first stops start taking place.
And I tell you what, as soon as the laps tick down, the better on fuel they get. So I would expect probably in the next lap or so, a couple of these guys thinking about pulling their cars in. And it looks like Ortiz is the first one to blink, as is Roberto Crown Jr. They did exactly what I thought they would do. They waited for Ben McDonald to pass the pit entry, and they go for it themselves. And it looks like Bobo Jones is joining them, as is William Brock and Duke Antak. Rasha Mahendra missed the commitment line.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem for him, but, you know, at least he tried, but you got to blow it up a little bit more.
Yeah, McDonald's got to pit here. He cannot afford to make another lap, and he does pull it in. But Ortiz and Crown did get a lap on him. Jeff Bolton's going to stay out, though. He's going to get a bonus point for himself. Jeffrey Finguy's going to stay out an extra lap. Let's see who else stays out there. Echo Evans-Ross, Zachary DeLello, Aaron Hall, Mark Davey. They all stay on the racetrack, trying to get some bonus points as most of the field hits pit road right now.
Yeah, I saw Austin Runkle stayed out. And
Patrick Smith, I believe.
Yeah, and we got scoring's going to be a little wacky because of some of the drivers on pit road pitting after they cross the start-finish line on pit road, but there we go. Now we're starting to see everybody else come in.
Yep, looks like everybody else is out. Now, Ortiz and Crown, this is going to be the battle I'm going to keep my eye on. We're going to wait and see when Ben McDonald exits the pits, Because once that happens, it's going to be a straight fight between the 91 and the 12 coming out of the pits. And it looks as though Ortiz heads into turn 1. There is Ben McDonald still on the apron. Ortiz is easily going to clear the 12. And so is Roberto Crown Jr. McDonald's going to lose a huge amount of time just by staying out that one extra lap.
And this is what we were wanting to see. Who's going to outfox who here? And, well, for now, it looks like it's Ortiz outfoxing McDonald.
And so is Roberto Crown Jr., albeit he's a little ways behind Nick Ortiz at the moment. We're going to see what... Bolton did lead that extra lap. He has led 2 now under that pit cycle. But next time they cross the start-finish line, it will be Nick Ortiz back out in the lead of this race as we come to 30 to go this time. These guys should be plenty good to go on fuel from here. My question now is, will McDonald's one-lap fresher tires make a difference, or will Ortiz and Crown be battling amongst themselves for the rest of this race?
That is the big question here as the scoring cycles through. And now there you see the gap, 4 seconds between Ortiz and
McDonald lost 5 seconds on the racetrack by pitting 1 lap later.
And you see how things are cycling out here. It's really, things have really jumbled up here. You see Duke Anzac up in there now on the scoring loop. I don't know if that's because he's not cycled back.
Well, keep in mind he did pit with Ortiz and Crown, so he's on the same strategy they were.
So he gained big, and that's a big time deal for him.
But I believe the battle is going to be between Crown and Ortiz, because Crown's got a really fast car. He's got to make up a second's deficit, though. And Crown just ran the 3rd fastest lap of the race on that last lap, a 30.08. Still nowhere near Ortiz's 29.83, but that's still a really good pace from Roberto Crown Jr. If he can keep that up for another few laps, he will be right on the tail of Nick Ortiz. But there's still a lot of racing left to go.
Yeah, there's a lot of racing and a lot of who knows what, because as we've seen, even when somebody gets a big lead like Ortiz has now, you gotta remember McDonald had that big of a lead before the pit cycle. I mean, there's no more pit cycles to mess with Ortiz, but there's other factors that could really play things out and shake things up.
But for now, Ortiz has just got to hang out front, cruise for now, don't use up your stuff yet in case we have to deal with more restarts. But he's grown his lead. It's now 1.6 seconds over Roberto Crown Jr. and 4.8 seconds over Ben McDonald. He's really managing out there as Nick Ortiz, keeping the gap solid, and I think he's on pace to get his first oval win in a very long time.
And you talk about first time tonight I've seen him, Devin Fair in the top 10. Well, seen him in the top 10, but yeah, that's going to be a bit of a nice salvager for him if he can gain a few spots. But he's got a little bit of work to do to get to the 3 ahead of him.
How about a strong run for this 2-car? Kyle Roberts making only his 2nd career start in the Superstar Series. He started this race back in 23rd, and he's now running in the 12th position. Super good effort from the Paladin Racing 2. Remember, this is a teammate to Roberto Crown Jr., so maybe they shared setup information for this race. But although Mark Davey puts the bumper to the back of the rookie a little bit, trying to get him loose, looks like he did that, and now Davey goes to the inside.
You saw there Roberts, it looked like he might try to... He was trying to see if he could get inside Bolton. Maybe, just maybe, he got information that 3 wide wasn't working. Maybe he was trying to force to keep Davey behind him, but it didn't quite work out.
No, but he's still hanging in there as Kyle Roberts, and that's a good sign for him. He's having a good run tonight. But you see Elaine Sanders has now caught Ben McDonald for position as Dylan Young catches Emma Kruger. So the battles are not over yet in this race. We still got some good battles on track. They're just not out for the lead because Nick Ortiz's lead has stayed steady at about 1.6 seconds.
And you see Young going after Kruger. Duke Anzac was under fire from Devin Fair, I saw there briefly, as a little bit of damage on the back of that 93 there.
Yeah, and he's going to be lapped soon in this race if he keeps that pace up. So that could be another wrinkle in this race as Crown cuts the deficit down a little bit. So if Ortiz catches Brock at a bad time, that could allow Crown to close right back in.
And that would be something he does not want, because like you said, his first oval in a long time, and he wants it. He wants it bad, but Crown wants it just as bad, if not worse.
And as they come to the line, we're closing in on 20 laps to go. There's a lot of racing still to go, but at the same time, there's not a lot of it left. We've completed 72 laps already in this race, and we're getting to that point where these guys are starting to get wore out. They're starting to get a little ragged around the edges, but they just got to hang on for about 20 more laps until this race is over.
Yeah, and they got to hold it. Ortiz has got to hold his breath and hope that 1, the 55 doesn't catch him before the checkered flag falls, and 2, the caution doesn't come out, because then the 55 will definitely be caught up to him.
Yeah, but he's got to hang on regardless. He's got to manage his stuff if a caution does come out, so he can try and hang in there a little bit better. But McDonald under fire from Sanders still for third, but Ortiz has just got to be managing out there in front, because his lead's down to 1.3, which is still fine. He's still got a good gap. Wasn't as big as it was before, but you know, you just got to manage as best you can. But my goodness, this is becoming a really interesting battle for the win here in the closing stages as we hit 20 to go.
Yeah, there's a lot left to go. Find out as we see. Looking towards the back of the top 10 list and the scoring there. Fair and Anzac continue fighting for ninth. As you see Bolton and that too has gotten back up there a little bit. He got his position back that he lost earlier, and these guys could really be playing a mix-up of the back of the top 10 here.
Absolutely. This is going to be an interesting battle for the rest of this race between these guys up at the front of the field. But for now, it's going to be a wait-and-see game at this point, because Bolton is right on the back of Anzac. I'm seeing that clear as day. The problem is for Bolton, he's been up front most of the day. I don't know how he's going to do in clean air for the rest of this race. Oh, as Mashburn almost made contact with Lane Sanders in turn 3.
That was a close call, and I'm pretty sure both Mashburn and Sanders were thinking yikes, and they saved it.
It's allowing Finn Guy to make a move, though. He's making a move for 4th.
And like I said before, these guys, they always seem to find each other no matter what. So always at some point during a race, there's a battle. Almost always, there's a battle between the 92 and the 87.
They were battling for the win at Denver, so yeah, I agree with you on that one. But these guys, they do find each other quite a lot on the racetrack. It's just a matter now of making it to the rest of this race without any further issues, because they've had plenty of them in the past. They're side by side once again as we got caution on the speedway for, what is it? Oh, Christian Vargas has crashed in turns 3 and 4. So that is going to put us under caution for the second time in this race as Nick Ortiz's lead gets eradicated, as it looks like we have more carnage deeper in the field, and Brock's got nowhere to go into Julio Caesar.
Fitzwater.
Brock's involved. I saw last week's winner, Zaedin Davidson, involved in this.
From hero to zero.
Ricky Freeman Jr., he was trying to make his way back to the front, and his day comes to an end here. Heartbreak for that 96 team. Sam Denoto, AJ Jones also involved in this, but it looks like it all started with Christian Vargas in that 54. Curious to see what caused that. But this puts us under caution now for the second time with about 15 laps to go.
And that's really going to throw a wrench into this, as it was like Austin Runkle must have got involved because he's retired already.
Not good for any of these guys. I wouldn't expect anybody to come in here, but I see a couple of them. Dylan Young's coming in from the 8th place, and so is Ortiz and Young and Crown.
What is their strategy?
I can only imagine they must have ran over some debris on the racetrack, then they gotten concerned about their tires, because they just pitted from 1st and 2nd.
This opens the door for McDonald to get this win back that he could have easily lost had this caution not come out.
Yeah, and we're hearing word they did run over some debris on the racetrack, and they were concerned about that. That's the reason they came in and changed the tires as a precautionary measure. Can also report Jake McMillan is now out of this race as well. So Vargas was running in the top 15 when this all started, Oh, and then
and his engine just lets go.
I said it at the top of the show. This is a car breaker, this race. Oh, and Davidson plows into the back of our free pass car, Rasha Mahendra. That's where he got his damage from. Oh, and he gets into J.D. Martin and tips Austin Runkle into a big slide. Runkle's the one that caused all this carnage off of turn 4. Caesar, Donato, DeLello gets a piece, Keon Daly. And then, oh my goodness, Ricky Freeman Jr. and A.J. Jones, nowhere to go. And Zachary Fitzwater for good measure.
If Fitzwater had it about clear, then the double zero came back up, and then, of course, we already saw what happened with Brock.
And that is the piece of debris right there that Nick Ortiz and Roberto Crone Jr. ran over. That is what put them in trouble with their tires, and it makes complete sense now why they came in for a pit stop. So yeah, Julio Cesar was minding his own business back here, and he was trying to avoid the incident, but there's nowhere for him to go. Oh, and you see McMillan get packed from behind by Cale Teskar Jr., and then they just go bowling back here with Ricky Freeman Jr., A.J. Jones, and Julio Cesar. That is a big-time incident for these guys. And then William Brock, I imagine something went wrong underneath the hood of that car to keep him from slowing down any further. But that is a really tough break.
Yeah. So that's going to really be a tough deal, as they're getting ready to go back to green, and there you see another retiree, Fitzwater, officially out of the race, as we are now down to 30 cars on the lead lap, and only two beyond that are still on track, to my knowledge.
So Rasha Mahendra, by the way, did get the free pass under this caution. So we're going to have 3 cars on the inside for this restart. Rhodes Gray, James Silverfox, Zaedin Davidson. That is good. We're going to see what happens here, because Ben McDonald has reassumed the lead of the race, with Lane Sanders second, Jeffrey Finguy, Miles Mashburn, Emma Kruger completing the top 5. My question now is, how far up the field can Nick Ortiz and Roberto Crone Jr. get on those fresh tires? Because they're going to restart about 26th, 27th, 28th place. That's a lot of cars they're going to have to pass in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, and I'm curious. We've seen what happens with Silver Fox being in the mix, but what about the damaged number 4 of Zaedin Davidson and the 1 of Rhodes Gray? As the owner of that 1 car, I'd like to say we have great equipment, but I know we're going to be a hindrance here in this restart.
Which is going to come really soon, because the pace car pulls off. We're going to have 12 laps to decide this race, and One-Up's longest night has gotten even longer. At Kentucky Speedway, Ben McDonald, Lane Sanders, Finguy, Mashburn, Kruger, the top 5, we're back underway with 12 to go.
And, well, might be the arrow push from that very strong 9, but Rhodes is hanging in there, and don't be leaning on Ben too much there. I don't want to have to write a repair check for that 12.
No, but McDonald does clear the 1 for the race lead. The problem for Sanders and Finguy, they are going to have to deal with this lap traffic next, and the problem they're going to be stuck on this outside for a long time, which has proven to be a good passing lane here, as Sanders does clear Silver Fox and Davidson, as Rhodes Gray continues to be a bit of a thorn in the leader's side.
And he's bringing along Lane Sanders. Lane might be thinking this could be his opportunity. Push the 1 past, get past the 12, then put the 1 back a lap down. So we'll see how that plays out. Yeah,
Nick Ortiz, he's passing cars left and right on this restart. The problem is he's got so many to go, as it looks like Cale Teskar Jr. is going to be way off pace for the rest of this race after the damage he sustained. Tough break for that 0 team, as Cale Teskar Jr. just tries to nurse it home. But look at this. Jeffrey Finguy has gotten past Lane Sanders to move up into 2nd place. He's now the closest challenger to Ben McDonald as we hit 10 to go.
Yeah, I will give Rhodes credit. He's trying to go there, but he's still being a hindrance to some guys. And now it's opened the door for Finguy as he puts Sanders back behind the 1. And Finguy going to try to get that 12 now.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Finguy much in this race, but he came to the front when it matters most at the end, and now we're having 9 laps to go. He is all over the back of that 12 car for the lead.
And he is not going to be denied, but you know Ben's going to be throwing some blocks here, that's for sure.
No doubt in my mind at all. because Ben McDonald, he wants to win this race. He's led the most laps tonight, and he's going to lead the most laps tonight. He's going to keep that bonus point for good now. But Jeffrey Finguy, he is looking to lead this race for the first time tonight, and he is not going to waste any time to try and get past his 12 car to get that 13th career win for the 92.
And I'll be honest, that'd be really interesting to see him play out. What I'm really interested in right now is he may not be on the lead lap, but Rhodes Gray's got that one hanging in there, even though he's not the greatest equipment.
But he's got relatively clean air on the nose of that one car, and that's probably what's helping him here. As look at Devin Fair making moves through the field. He's up to 6th place. Mark Davey up to 7th. Kyle Roberts in that 2 car up to the top 10 and 8th. Duke Antek and Emma Kruger now do battle for 9th place. As look at all the cars back here trying to get by. Nick Ortiz being among them. He's up to the top 20 now.
He could get a top 10 by the checkered flag. It's going to be what could have been for him, though, I feel.
Him and Roberto Crown Jr. as well. Those two had really good cars tonight. And Crown is still stuck at the back of the field in that black and red 55 car. So he is not making nearly the amount of progress Nick Ortiz is. But we are coming now to the end of this race. We're coming to 6 to go. And Finguy swoops past Ben McDonald to take the lead of the race with 6 laps to go. Finguy, your new leader.
If these guys keep fighting, Sanders got by the 1. He is coming in now, and this could really get exciting, especially if it ends up being the 2 best buds going at it.
But Ben McDonald is not going to give up yet, as Rhodes Gray still trying to fight for all he can in this race. But McDonald, like I said, he is not going to give up this battle as much as he possibly can. We're coming to 5 laps to go. Jeffrey Finguy starting to stretch out a little bit of a lead. It's now 0.3 of a second. Ben McDonald trying to close that gap back in the final 5.
And again, I wish that one was on the lead lap right now, because this is showing that we had the stuff. It's just we're a lap behind, as Finguy, well, he's like 4 car lengths ahead.
He's doing whatever he can to keep that lead, and boy, this would be a big win as we got a crash in turn 3. Kyle Roberts in the 2, Emma Kruger in the 70. That's going to be it for this race, I feel.
And
more cars involved. Daniel Bouchard, Roberto Crown Jr., and Liam Nolan. This is going to be an end to this race because we only have 4 laps to go.
And that is not what Ben McDonald and Lane Sanders wanted to see.
Oh, and Ryan Soper with some significant damage in the 84. He was having a top 20 day in that 84 car, but that's going to probably be an end to his night, as Emma Kruger was running in the top 10 all day long, but it's going to end behind the wall.
And that's going to be a few more spots gained for some people who were back to, like Nick Ortiz. It's not how he wanted to gain those spots, regain those spots, but he'll get some of those back.
Or is he? Because he's back on pit road from 11th place. Something must
he run over some more debris?
Either that or he's got some damage they want to take care of, but I don't know why he would be pitting from 11th place when we've got only 3 laps to go. This is gonna ruin his day.
It was already really messed up, but now, yeah, it's over. Whatever happens from here for him, it's over.
Heartbreak, though, for Nick Ortiz. Something obviously wrong with the car, but yeah, they fix it right away and send him back on his way. It must have been a reliability issue for them. Maybe they wouldn't have made it the rest of the way under caution even, but we are going to get you a replay of this final caution of the day. You really got to feel for Kyle Roberts. He was running in the top 10 in this race. I think Emma Kruger is just going to get a little too eager in the turn 3, and oh man, big impact for that 2 car.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough, and that's and then this is where Soper gets his damage. So
and then Bouchard and Crown, Liam Nolan, they all pile in.
Yeah, I think Liam Nolan was kind of being a thorn in Crown's side before this happened. Now they just all get together with Bouchard, and that just makes it worse.
Yeah, you see, Ryan Soper, he was minding his own business inside the top 20 when Kruger just tries to come to pit road. Soper was already there. that is a really tough way to end the race for the 84. He struggles to make races as it is. He was going to have a really good day today. Now it's gone.
Yeah, that's a real tough one there for him. As you see him rolling by the 55 and the 93.
Bouchard also had a really good day going in the early stages. Led 3 laps early on, but he's going to finish in 26th position in this race. We're going to come to the white flag here under caution. Jeffrey Finguy, though, he'll have only led 7 laps today. Ben McDonald, he led 54 of them. But it goes to show you, you need to, like we saw in the truck race last week at Irwindale, you got to be out in front when it matters most, and Finguy did that today.
Yeah, and looking at this top 10, guys and gals needing good runs. Echo Evans Ross for the top 10, Aaron Hall, Duke Anzac, Devin Fair getting back up in the top 10. I talked earlier about how we didn't really talk much about him until he got back in the top 10, but then you got Jeff Bolton as well, been having a good season like we talked about earlier in the race, and Lance Sanders continuing to have one of those seasons where you want to remember some of it, you want to forget some of it, as we take the white flag under yellow.
So we're going to end this race with 30 cars on the racetrack, 27 of which will be on the lead lap. And for Jeffrey Finguy, this is going to be a big day for him, a big night for him in this 92 team. They're going to tie Christian Vargas on the all-time records book list once again with 13 wins in the Superstar Series. Vargas got that win at Hillside earlier this year to edge ahead of Finguy. But this 92 car just never gives up, and tonight he's going to retie the record.
As long as Vargas is still racing in Superstar competition and Finguy, I feel like they're going to be going back and forth until they decide to retire.
Which I hope doesn't come anytime soon, because these guys have been putting on an incredible show ever since they started in this series. And for Jeffrey Finguy, this is just going to be another chapter in his story. Jeffrey Finguy, who, remember, this team, they expanded to 3 cars in the offseason. We weren't sure if they were going to keep this level of domination that they had in years past, but sure enough, Dylan Young got a win at Circuit of the Americas earlier this year, and now, coming off of Turn 4 for the final time at Kentucky Speedway to conclude One-Up's longest night, it is going to be Jeffrey Finguy picking up career win number 13 to retie Christian Vargas on the all-times wins list. At the top of the table, it is going to be Jeffrey Finguy at the line.
Yeah, Finguy, McDonald, Sanders, Mashburn, Bolton, Davey, Fair, Anzac, Hall, and Evans Ross, as we see Dylan Young taking an off-road excursion here.
Yeah, it looks like he's got an issue late. This is a car breaker, this race, and we've seen that all race long. We saw it with Vargas. We see it with Dylan Young here. And it looks like we also see it with Liam Nolan. He was in that crash with 5 to go, so that's not really surprising. But Jeffrey Finguy does get this win, the 13th of his career. Ben McDonald hates to finish second, but that's where he finishes today. It's a tough break for him, but he will rebound, I'm sure. Lane Sanders, 3rd place. Didn't lead today, but good day for him nonetheless. A podium finish for the 87. Miles Mashburn, always good to see him in the top 5 and 4th. And Jeff Bolton gets his second 5th place finish in a row here in the Superstar Series. He finished 5th at Hanford last week, and he finishes 5th here today at Kentucky. Really good run from Jeff Bolton in the top 5. Mark Davey, he carries the banner for Louisville Motorsports today, finishing 6th. Devin Fair, didn't talk about him much today, but he brings it home 7th. Duke Anzac likewise in 8th. And then 2 game breaker cars, Aaron Hall and Echo Evans Ross, complete the top 10.
Yeah, they didn't get to carry the banner much of the day, but in the end, they're the ones hoisting the game breaker banner high, which for them, you got to be happy about that, especially for Hall, because they're not the ones we usually talk about out of that team.
Looks like a lot of people in turn 2 are running short on gas here to complete this race. This was a very long run to complete this race, so not too surprised about that. But Finguy started 19th today. He came through the field, finished at the top of the board, and now he heads to Minnesota with a lot of momentum and the points lead too.
And big congratulations to him and to Finn Guy and all those who had great finishes. All those
Absolutely
who had finishes today were great. And one little team owner note for me: I got to give Rhodes great props for, while not finishing on lead lap, keeping that car in one piece and making sure it's ready for my truck guy who holds it at Minnesota.
So from James Ellison and from myself as well, we say so long from Kentucky.